Hi, Ramsey Schilling Associates. I'm here to give you updates regarding the new forms that California Association of Realtors have added to your Zip Forms vault. These 9 forms particularly address the issues that may or may not come up in your real estate transactions regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll start with the CVA, Coronavirus Addendum and Amendment, updated as of 4/16/2020. So this form can be attached to your purchase agreement. When you submit the offer, it'll be written in the additional forms. This can also be added as an amendment after you're in a transaction. And basically what this form says, that the escrow may not be able to close or contingencies may not be able to be met due to unforeseen or impossible or impractical reasons due to this pandemic. This form creates a contractual agreement between the two parties to either extend the escrow, cancel the contract, or just a notice that, hey, my buyer can't get their loan, can't fund their loan because of what's happening in the pandemic right now. The next one is a notice of unforeseen coronavirus circumstance. This was updated as of 4/16/2020, form code NUCC. This is a notice that is to be used when the CVA is part of the purchase contract and one of the parties has one of these unforeseen circumstances come up. It also can be given as just an information disclosure to both parties. So you don't have to use it as a notice of this is what's happening, but rather as an information before or if anything may occur. The third form that was added was the RLACAA. So this form goes in correlation with your listing agreement. So if you take a listing agreement right now, while we're under the stay-at-home mandate, you can include this list, the RLA-CAA, which is the listing agreement Coronavirus Addendum and Amendment, updated revised 4/16/2020. So this one states that upon taking the listing agreement, that there are certain things that you as a real estate agent will do your best to take measures of safety and health in consideration. So that you will escort or you'll take virtual tours and you'll take the utmost precaution with their permission to enter the property of the said house or investment property. This form also allows you the option to temporarily withdraw the property from the market because of what's going on. So it's essentially a way to stay in the listing agreement or get out of it, and to inform them that you will do your best as a representative of them to take precaution when showing their house. So when you do have someone who wants to see their house and physically go into that property, you may want to use the PEAD, the Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration. This form is currently pre-attached to the listing agreement, the RLA-CAA. So that was the listing agreement Coronavirus Addendum and Amendment. And so this is for any visitor who comes through the house, whether it's the photographer or a potential buyer or an agent who wants to preview it for their buyer. So you may want to have them sign this coronavirus property entry advisory and declaration. And basically it says, after this person leaves, that you will do your best to clean, or that you may want to clean and sanitize the home and space. Pay special attention to doorknobs and counters and what have you. In this form, it also states that anyone entering the house should take precaution, not touch surfaces if they don't need to, not touch anything that they don't need to, and do their best to take precaution, whether it means wearing a face mask or gloves or booties or what have you. So this kind of goes both ways, and this can be presented to any visitor coming in to the property. So now we're going to go into the forms that relate to leasing, or leases rather. The first of those is the notice to tenant of ability to pay rent during the coronavirus and pandemic, the NTAP. This letter could be used to begin a discussion with a tenant that has or has not paid their rent yet, and it discusses what will happen if they stop paying, and that the rents are not forgiven, and that the tenant, if something may happen, they need to contact the landlord. The fifth new form that has been included in ZIP forms is a RPD, the Coronavirus Rent Payment Delay and Repayment Agreement. So basically this is an amendment that goes with the lease agreement that if they're unable to pay, let's say, the next 3 months of rent, that this will set up a guideline of when and how they'll pay the rent, whether it's at the end of June or whether it's equal payments through the rest of the year to catch up on the rent that is not forgiven during the pandemic. So you may want to read this over, and if your landlord has a tenant, if you have a client as a landlord who has a tenant who's not paying, you may want to advise them on this form. The sixth form that we have available is the CVALR, and this is the Coronavirus Lease Rental Addendum and Amendment, revised and updated 4/16/2020. And this can be attached to a lease agreement at the time of formation, or be added as an amendment after the lease has been accepted. Its terms are intended to be used when the tenant or lessee has not yet taken possession of the property, and they're saying that there may be a circumstance that allows them to get out of the lease before even entering into the property or moving into the property due to some unforeseeable circumstance that has come up during the coronavirus pandemic. And this basically gives both parties time it allows them to either extend the time at which they move in, or a mutual agreement to go ahead and cancel the lease if this may have happened prior to them moving in. And the eighth form that we have available is the NUCCLR, Notice of Unforeseen Lease Rental Coronavirus Circumstance. This is a notice form to be used with the CVALR. And this is actually saying that something has happened, and the tenant may need to provide proof that either they lost their job or loss of income, and this is the form that gets submitted to the landlord. And lastly, we have the PEAD-LR, the Coronavirus Lease Rental Property Entry Advisory and Declaration. And so this is basically if someone is selling a property that has a tenant currently in the property, and it provides background information to both the tenant and occupant that that any visitor coming in may enter, and that they should be advised to sanitize or clean before and or after. It's also saying that the visitor that is coming into the property has declared that they do not know that they have the coronavirus, or they may not be, or that they are not showing signs that they do. But that you will enter the property, and they will enter the property under the best practices guidelines to not touch anything, wear a mask, and you will do every measure that you can to ensure your safety, their safety, and the tenant's safety. So these are the updates that I have. This is kind of a brief overview. I've included several links in the email that goes with this video, so you can actually read for yourself and see, and I also attached the actual forms so you can actually read through and see the forms. So until next week, until next time, stay safe.